first guy I'm starting at quarterback is Andy Dalton of the Cincinnati Bengals, going into a shootout with the Pittsburgh Steelers, a team that's tied for first in the NFL with 13 touchdown passes allowed. At running back, I'm going with the New England Patriots. Now, which one? James White or Sony Michel? I like James White better because playing against the Kansas City Chiefs, a defense that gives up almost as many receiving yards to running backs as rushing yards, look for the guy that can catch passes out of the backfield. That's White. At wide receiver, some injuries to the Los Angeles Rams receiving corps leaves Robert Woods as the only healthy guy, and the Denver Broncos gave up a couple of long TD bombs to Robbie Anderson of the Jets last week. And at tight end, for the second week in a row, Atlanta's Austin Hooper gets to face a team that is pitiful against the tight ends. 9 catches, 77 yards last week. I think he does something similar again this week. I'm going to sit Phillip Rivers because the Chargers have to travel to Cleveland, and the Browns defense, although it gives up a lot of yards, it doesn't give up a lot of touchdowns. They're just one of 4 defenses with more interceptions than touchdowns allowed. Beware if you're starting Rivers. At running back, don't be fooled by Kenyan Drake's big game last week. He had only 6 carries, and the Bears have allowed the fewest fantasy points to running backs. At wide receiver, DeMarius Thomas had a 100-yard game last week, but it was aided by a garbage-time long bomb, and he faces a tough Rams secondary. And at tight end, this is health-related. Eric Ebron had a huge game last week, 105 yards and a couple of touchdowns, but he came out of that game with 4 different injuries. Don't start him. The Jets are #1 in fantasy against tight ends.